that ones you guys
You can see what type of people they are, how thoughtful they are in their answers, and I think it's hopefully a different caliber of athlete that we felt like limited us some. Obviously, I loved our group last year, but we wanted to evolve the program a little bit, and we're in the process of doing so.
At what point, whether that's the summer or the season, do you really figure out what kind of team you have on the court and how you can use them?
It's a great question. I think we didn't really figure it out last year until probably the Virgin Islands. This year, last year we also didn't have Rudy in the summer.
Yeah.
Justin got hurt. Both of them got hurt. Justin and Rudy got hurt in the summer. So it was really hard to tell what we had. And that evolved into something a little bit different. And then we even changed it toward mid-year. So I think I got a good sense of the versatility of this group. We have, I think, a lineup where we can throw out 6'7" to 6'8", 6'9" across the board. We can play a little smaller because we have several, I think, quality guards that are point guards but can also score off the basketball. And then I think we have a more traditional lineup. We also, Tade, who's our newest signee, was going to replace Jalen Overway. He hasn't yet arrived. He'll be here next week. He's just got his I-20. He's different than anybody we have. He's 6'8", 235, but he can really pass. I think he's going to be a Big John type, hopefully in a little bit better shape than Big John. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what we have, but I don't know. And then it's always different when the lights are on, the popcorn's popping. I think, look, we're all cautious of, I hope you guys know we're exhibition against Wisconsin, Marquette, Illinois State. Those are all, you got two probably top 30 teams. And then I would say Illinois State's a top 50 team. They'll probably be picked first or second in the Valley. It's really good. So all our weaknesses are going to get exposed. And my caution is, one, can we keep our confidence? Because that first part of the schedule is difficult. And then two, can we spend time and figure out what we have? Because what happens when you're on the sideline of those exhibition games is you're so competitive and you want to win that sometimes you can lose track of, hey, we got to figure out exactly what we have here. So I would hope by the end of those exhibition games, we'll have a good sense of what we have. And it's not just that they're three high quality teams. You got Wisconsin, that's kind of an offensive machine. Their bigs are incredibly skilled. Their guard plays a little bit different. Then you got Marquette. I mean, they have as good a point guard as you have in the country. They're going to be crazy athletic, play a completely different style from the Badgers. And then Illinois State is a different style. And obviously you got the best big guy in their league, one of the best mid-major point guards in the country in Kinzinger. And so we'll have to figure out how we look against three very different styles. And hopefully when we get to November 2nd, our first game, we'll have a better sense and we won't have to go through what we went through early last year to figure out what we had.
I know this was something that you have been preaching and tried to get some Wisconsin, Marquette. You want to get this thing rolling. To get those as exhibition games, how big is that for the state of Wisconsin and also the program?
I think it's huge. I think, unselfishly, I think it's big for the Badgers and for Marquette to get up here and have a presence that people understand just how good their programs are. Because Iowa State's been robbing our state of some quality players, as have a couple other programs getting into our state and getting players. We want to build a fence not just for us, but for them as well. Those are higher level programs, so it's not like we're recruiting against Wisconsin or Marquette for players. So I think, one, it's big for them. Two, I think it's big for the state. A chance to get on the court in a different part of the state than Milwaukee, than Madison, spread your brand, I think is huge. And then for us, I understand there's the realistic possibility that it doesn't go great in the final score. But if we can, 10 fans, 100 fans, 1,000 fans that have never seen Green Bay play in the last 6-7 years, they come to the rest and like, I kind of like this team. Maybe I'll come back, right? That's the whole idea. So yeah, it's gigantic. And then there's we got to make money off it. In order to get this program to a level of sustainable success, I have to be consistent. We have to have consistency within the staff. We have to have some continuity within the roster, but then we also have to have the financial resources. And this is probably the second thing we've done, which doesn't go to the same pool of people. we have probably 20 people who are unbelievable supporters of the program. They've given, but at some point you can't keep asking for the same people for their money. So instead, let's just have a great game, have a great atmosphere, 2 teams in the state of Wisconsin going at it, and oh yeah, by the way, we'll make some of that same money out of it. So for those 3 factors, for them, for us, recruiting, also, we want people to know we're different. We're doing something great up here. And then the financial resources we think we can get from it. I think it's going to be a huge 2 weeks there where we have those 3 teams coming in.
What do you learn from those games against Wisconsin and Marquette that you don't learn from other non-conference opponents?
Well, when I grew up, my dad's big thing was you got to play against older people, right? Older people kind of expose what you can't do. And so for us, this is above our weight class, I don't know what Marquette or what Wisconsin, what their NIL, rev share, what their budget is, but I'm guessing it's probably 10x of ours, maybe even higher. Okay, so it's above our weight class. It's okay. What are we going to learn? I mean, against Wisconsin, can we play again? I mean, Nolan Winter is freaking good. Right? Like their bigs are really, really good. How do we play against their bigs? Plus, their offense is so smooth, so efficient, and it's different than. It's a little bit like what we do. So can we guard it against bigger players, especially bigs that can shoot? Against Marquette, throwing them in the fire, right? Nigel James he's a dog, man. He's as good as there is. And can we play against that level of athleticism, that level of toughness, that level of speed? It's very, very different. And then, Illinois State, they got a veteran point guard, they got a veteran big guy. They're really good. I mean, they have loaded up for this year to try and win 25 games. And I think this, that one's at the Crest. My guess is that'll be a complete sellout and just a zoo with, Johnny Kinzinger come back and all the De Pere people here. So what does it look like when you're playing against a team that we compete with in a full house? You learn what somebody's really made of. Because what they look like in a scrimmage, what they look like in open gym, it's totally different. And, you guys talked to a lot of these guys that played junior college basketball. Like, the attention to detail on every possession, how hard you play is so much higher. And that'll get exposed. Bradley did that to us last year. I felt great about it, right? It really, really helped prepare us for the season and showed us, okay, well, our ball screen coverage is not as good as theirs. We don't play as hard as they do. We're not as physical as they do. And some of our guys weren't ready. And the guys that leveled up had great years, and the guys that didn't, did not.
Texas Southern plays 15 road games a year in the non-con. Like, they never play at home till conference play starts. Do you feel like in this NIL era that you have to do something similar as a smaller program?
So this year we have one D1 non-conference home game. We'll have 2 non-D1s. We'll have 3. That's the second year in a row. It's a hard mix because you got to make money, but you also can't just take beatings. Not my record, I don't care, right? Like, we could legitimately play I'll be fine. I know it's about our league, and it's about, you can watch the program. But you do have to win some games to get some confidence, to have guys believe in what you're teaching them. So next year, we'll have St. Thomas here, we'll have UMKC here, we'll have West Florida here, South Dakota State we're going to play in Oshkosh, and then we'll have 2 non-D1s. And then next year, we're set to play Duke, Marquette, and a couple other big boys, and we're still going to go out on the road and have to make money. This year, we have 5 games, which are bye games, and then we have St. Thomas, UMKC, and West Florida on the road. So yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. We're just trying to manage our schedule, trying to manage their confidence, and also we got to make a certain amount of money so our books are in the black, not in the red. And it's kind of a constant juggling act, and you got to protect games that you think you can compete in. So when you look, there has been so much time and effort put into our schedule this year because of the things that I've learned in my 2 years on the job is schedule, staff, culture, everything. And it's not there yet. I think next year is going to be more of what I ultimately want to get to. But it is a necessary path in order to financially balance our books and to get the schedule we want. What happens is my first year, everybody wants to play. And so the first year we just kind of hodgepodge pick games, some for recruiting. I thought it made sense to get out to the West Coast, to go to Oklahoma. I took, a couple guys back to Providence. Like there was some thought that went into it, but it wasn't the thought of, my thought now is home games we compete in, got to make money, maintain our confidence, travel as little as possible. So we had some opportunities to play in some other venues, but since the furthest we're going is 2 games in Florida, right? And then we're in Kansas City, we're in Cincinnati, we're in Minnesota, we're in Iowa. We're staying around here because when you travel too much, they're not adults. It's you know how tired you guys get when you travel. And I can remember several games. We go to Evansville and you're expecting your team to go compete and they just have nothing in the tank. And travel and confidence is a huge part of it.
Doug, when it comes to success last year, right? This program felt it. How big was that for you and this program to have some success?
Come on, man. I mean, I got an extension. Josh got an extension. Place was full. It was huge. So I still feel the pressure of trying to perform at a place where, Dick Bennett and so many other great coaches have been here, and I want this program to continue to excel. But yeah, I mean, it was gigantic. The weight lifted off of everyone's shoulders. You can really feel. And I would say if we didn't release that tension, I don't know if Marcus comes back. No matter how much you're going to pay him, right? Because he didn't take top dollar to come back. But I thought he really enjoyed himself, and he enjoyed the fact that so many people in Green Bay really bought in. I mean, I can't tell you, we talked about last year how different it's been just everywhere you go, and people attaboying you and liking the program and wanting to meet the new kids and all those things. So it was gigantic. It's a step, but getting to being good is not the goal. Just like you and I discussed, I didn't come here to win 4 games. We didn't come here to win 18. So we know what the bar is, and we want to continue to raise it.
You mentioned the Virgin Islands earlier. That seems like a experience for that group. How important is that to do that now this time of year?
The what experience?
The Virgin Islands,
Well, wasn't that we didn't do anything like that. We didn't do it. A couple guys were mad because we didn't do a boat trip or something. I was like, we didn't come here for a boat trip. We came here to win basketball games. So, but this is as you guys will learn, it's a really good group. The people you bring in is just, if not more important than how good they are as basketball players, because we have to live with them, and we're going to end up with 17 at the end of the day. And last I checked, I can only play 5. If they let me play 6, I will. But they can only play 5. So you have to have good people that are aligned. Otherwise, those other 12 that aren't playing, you look down there and there's a bunch of sad faces. So it's big. We've done a couple of things so far together, but I don't want to overdo it. So we have a couple other things planned. We're probably going to do a little camp up in the UP. We go and practice up there and do some team bonding things. But keeping the group close is hugely important. And you can't do that if you don't have the right leadership, and you can't do that if you don't have the right people. And then there's some other kind of sort of tricks and things you can do along the path that can help them get closer. But the Virgin Islands did help them. The best part I can tell you about my team last year was we got done playing. Most of them are of age. There's a casino in St. Thomas. There's nightclubs. There's all this other stuff. So I said, hey, you got to be back in your room. I think it was 1 o'clock or something. We were leaving at 4 the next day. And if you go out, my rules are if you go out, you got to go out with somebody else. Like no stray dogs. And we went to the bar and we're having a couple of drinks and we looked down and they're all at the hot tub. They had a couple beers or whatever, but they all were together. And that's not normal for 22, 23, 24-year-old guys when their coach tells them on foreign state or foreign land or foreign territory or whatever, hey, you got the night off, go do what you want. So I love those kids. We tried to replicate it. I think we've done pretty well, and we'll just see as they go. But that team bonding aspect of it, it's everything. Teams win, players don't, coaches don't. It's who is the most connected at the end of the year, and that connectivity is everything.
You mentioned that you don't know what you have until the lights are on in those exhibition games, but who has impressed you out of those new faces so far this summer, or maybe what about this group has impressed you the most so far?
Good question. I mean, I do think that Marcus looks different from a positive standpoint. I thought last year he was trying to figure out like, well, we weren't good, but I'm supposed to lead and I'm supposed to score, and like you could see him kind of working down his head. Whereas he's just very, very confident in what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to do it. He never thinks twice about and if you get on him about making a mistake, he makes it better. He's so much better defensively. He's got a ways to go, but I mean, Marcus Hall has had an outstanding summer. Clarence Paella, who goes by CP, he's had a really, really good summer. Not in that my expectations are for him to play 35 minutes and average 20, but just come in, do the work, fit in, and he has a world of potential. You can just see he's 6'6", 6'7", and he's a guard. Naquan Brown came in late, and he got to work on his academics. He's done well there. I think, he's a really, really bright kid, and his season was slightly shortened in junior college because he had a medical issue in the start of the year. So he's just starting to kind of figure it out, but he's very smart, he's very talented, and he's one of those guys like Marcus, like Clarence, that can be a multi-positional guy. And then, Matawan Cicic, he's sick today, so he's not here, but he's taken a big step from year 1 to year 2. He's 7 foot, 250 pounds, and he's one of the nicest human beings you ever meet, but he's got some toughness to him, and he's becoming a grown man.
It's not been told yet because there's not been a game, but do you feel like in the first 3 years this is the most talented possible you've had?
I don't know. I mean, the word talent is we could argue about the word talent, right? Like, are you talented because you're more athletic, or are you talented because you can actually play basketball? Right? Like, is Rudy as talented as some of the guards that we have here athletically? Probably not. But who would you rather have playing? I do think it's the best collection of athletes that we have. Fitting them together, figuring out who and how, that's our job as coaches. But yes, it's a higher level of athlete. Look, last year's group was special in that so many of them were part of the first year. And so I think part of the unifying force was proving that wasn't who we are, and that we actually do have a good group. Then there was, Justin, who had his own, like he was trying to prove himself at Division I level. You had guys really trying to prove themselves, and they're united about that. 4 of the 5 starters last year started their careers as walk-ons. Justin, Caden, Preston, and who else started? And CJ. CJ started here as a walk-on. So all of them, I thought, had something to prove, as well as a program with something to prove. I don't know if this group totally feels that. So getting them to be that tight, unified force, and getting them to play for each other and to play for the school is paramount, and I don't know what that looks like. So in regards to athletic talent, yeah, this is the most talented group. First group wasn't that far behind. We had guys that didn't fit in school and got hurt. So that was probably the issue there.
What's the situation that satisfies with Henry? Is he kind of recovering?
Yeah, he's what was it called? His return to play. He's on a return to play. So it sucks. I mean, him and MJ are 2 really talented freshmen. I tell them all the time, like, you're the future of this program, not the now of this program. But they could so use the summer. And Henry was just on spring break, and he just picked up some pottery or something that cut open his hand. So he can do. He just can't go live. So he's fine. But this is the 3rd workout today with the team. So, but he's an awesome kid and kind of the perfect Green Bay Phoenix. He's 6'8", 6'9" Bennett Bassage. He plays hard, tough, impossible not to want him to play.
Any timetable of when you hope to have him back?
September. Yeah, September. So that's it.
Doug, I know this is kind of a loaded question, but you kind of went through 2 different phases in your time here of the transfer portal, right? Like when it was low and then the program has some buzz. What have you learned the most going through this process now a few times about the transfer portal?
Ooh.
I know it's a loaded question.
No, it's not a loaded question. It's just I'm trying to give you guys try not to filibuster and give you guys a long answer. And we're not perfect on it, but I would say that one, we tried last year and we pulled it off with Jackson this year. Unfortunately, CJ went in league, but you love recruiting in your league because you feel like it's not just that you've evaluated and played against them, you've seen them at the level that it's going to take for you to be successful. And Jackson Edwards, like we badly wanted Chandler Cutthroat the year before, but like so many guys, they saw we won 4 games and he's like, I ain't doing that. So we have learned that Division I transfers within reason are more valuable because it's just a higher level of coaching, a higher level of competition. Doesn't mean we want every Division I transfer, and then we've learned, in terms of Division II transfers. Rob Stroud's a great kid, good player, just didn't necessarily fit into what we were trying to do. We couldn't find positionally a place that we felt like he would excel or he wanted to excel. But we had great success with Justin, who they were a 500 program. So it's not always the program makes the player. You got to find it's still right fit. And the more you know about a player in the portal, we make quick decisions. Sometimes it's not as good as an educated decision. And sometimes you got to say no. You're going to miss on guys. You're going to hit on guys. You just hope your hit rate is higher than your miss rate. And I do think it's going to be interesting next year what it looks like with D2 and D3 because D2 is really rated this year. And, I was talking with Keel and, Keel was here for a year, but the league he's going back to is a shell of its former self because, 2 coaches are now coaching in Division I, one in Central Michigan and one in Northern Illinois, and they've taken their teams and taken other high-level D2s with them. So my guess is that D2 is going to be down. D3, I think will still be pretty good because not as many guys made that jump. So I don't know what it looks like next year. And then we still don't have clarity on junior colleges and if the one-time transfer rule passes. Does it count previous transfers? I don't know. Nobody's told us. When do the transfers start? And then what happens with junior college guys? But, you've learned to evaluate a little bit better in terms of junior college programs, not necessarily players, because trying to reteach somebody who's 21 years old how to play basketball is really hard, really hard. And then even recruiting foreign players, not in the portal. What is that like? Who are the good actors? Who are the bad actors? But you just learn from doing, and you're going to make some mistakes, and you're going to pay some guys too much, you're going to pay some guys too little, you're going to miss, and you just got to kind of keep focusing. And the big thing I did believe and has come to fruition is we're going to recruit everybody. And then if we don't get them, we're not leaving them on bad terms. Because I always tell guys, like, I wouldn't recruit you unless I thought you're really good. So the fact that you pick somewhere else, I'm not going to say like, well, you suck now. Plus, pretty good chance they'll be in the portal next year. We'd prefer to get you after somebody else coaches you for a year anyway.
What can players learn from each other coming from all these different backgrounds, whether it be JUCO, transfers, foreign, what can they learn from each other once they get in the building, and how can those different backgrounds really benefit?
It's a great question. I would say that's the challenge to our returners, to guys like Marcus. It's just like, hey, watch. If you just do what he does, you're gonna be fine. So I think you can learn from guys that have been here. And then one of the things we try and do is we watch film with them every day. So we try and show them not just what we're trying to teach them, but what it ultimately looks like. So, look, Justin Allen, I didn't play him against Buffalo. Like, he didn't guard anybody. He tried to score every time he got it. He was so lost and so screwed up defensively. But slowly but surely, he figured it out. And he became a dynamic player by the end. So we can show some of these guys on film, like, hey, I know you think you're lost now, and we're telling you your defense isn't good enough, but look at this guy, look at his defense here at the start of last year and his minutes, and then look at him at the end of the year and look at his defense and his minutes, and you're like, oh. So we understand that it's progression. So you can learn from the returners, you can learn from watching film with us, and then I also think guys like Jackson Edwards, who's been at now his 5th program, understands what good programs are like, and it's kind of like a Jedi master where he can teach the younger Jedis.